Hi everyone. Thank you for being patient with us this last week. It's been a week ago today, and we so appreciate all your thoughts and your prayers, your emails, your messages. Each and every one of them have touched our hearts and have comforted us. It has been
our hard week since Sunday.
It's been a long week. We
tried to put everything in perspective.
Yeah.
Keep on.
It's just been a hard week. Just trying to deal with what we've dealt with. We have lost 15 of our adults, 14 of our does,
14 out of 15 we lost.
And one of our bucks.
It's been a very hard week. We do have the kids out there.
All the kids are fine. None of the kids were affected and are in no danger. This only affected the adults, and it's my fault. It's something that I did.
It could have happened to anybody.
Last year we had heard, or I had heard, about a more organic worming solution protocol that you could do. It had been studied, I believe, by the University of Kentucky. There's a lot of goat people that are just raving about it.
It works.
It
works when it's used.
Works when it's used correctly.
Yeah.
I researched it and decided that it was something that I wanted to do. And so last year we went through all the steps and we started our whole adult herd on it. And almost within just a few months saw the benefits. Everybody was doing so good, save for Cash. He had some issues, and we did have to take a step back and chemically worm him to get him back to where he needed to be. But everybody else was doing so good.
They had their ups and downs, and the first.
But worming wasn't their issue. Worming wasn't their issue.
No.
In March, they were due for another dose, another protocol, and our kids were here, and I didn't want to mess with it. Thought, oh, we could wait a few weeks. It's not that big of a deal. Kids left, and some things came up.
That was on our minds.
Some personal things that were on our minds.
And so it was.
And I just went ahead and thought I could do this. It was such a simple thing. And it's using copper sulfate and distilled water. And as many of you know that have goats, copper sulfate is very toxic in large doses.
So it was the first 3 hours that we noticed that there was something wrong, and I think Lucky was the first one that passed away, and there was 2 more.
We lost
a little bit there.
The first night. We lost 6. We lost Lucky and Bijou and Prairie Rose, Jasmine, Calamity, and Maggie. The next day, we lost Lily. whenever it very first started. Let me go back. Whenever I was doing the mix, I added too much copper
copper.
sulfate, and so they were overdosed. They were given a lethal dose. We didn't know that. We didn't recognize that right away. At first, some of the symptoms had me thinking that it was a massive worm die-off, that I had misread their Fumantia scores, and what we were dealing with was the product working the way it was supposed to work and clearing them. But before you do that, you've got to take steps to clear their systems before you do the sulfate mix. I had already done that. I didn't need to do it again. Their Fumantia scores were great, so they just needed the copper sulfate solution. I, in my mind, thought that I had misread their Fumantia scores, and what we were dealing with was
A worm load.
a worm load.
Yeah.
The next day, Lily passed. And I came in and I looked at the copper sulfate and at the dosage,
It was a little bit too much.
and I pulled out my scales, and Jeff was in here with me.
Well,
Jeff was with me, and I knew that I had overdosed them. So switch gears. We immediately contacted our vet and let her know, this is what it is, this is what we're dealing with. She had me call the vets at OSU in Stillwater, and between both sets of vets, we got a game plan together. I was able to get the medication that may help start absorbing some of the copper that that had went into their livers at this point. And so we were hopeful. For the next 2 days, everybody acted just fine.
They did.
They were just fine. We thought that we'd gotten through the worst of it.
And we was dosing them with the other.
And then Thursday morning, I got up and went out there. And I could tell something was wrong with Annie. She wasn't well. Looked over, Ellie wasn't well. Oh my
They
goodness.
started going downhill.
Cappuccino,
quick.
Honey, and Kalani weren't well. We lost them within 48 hours by Friday. And we lost Titan. Yesterday, Freya and Trinity passed away. Freya was the last to pass away. We thought we were going to lose Gobi.
Yeah, yesterday he was not doing good.
It's not doing good yesterday.
Yeah, we got up there this morning early, and he's walking around, eating, drinking water.
Have a lot of hope. A little bit of hope.
It's not over yet.
It's not over yet, and we know it's not over yet. Catch Me and Cash, they acted off the first 2 days, and then they've just not even shown any signs that it's affected them. We're not blind to the fact that it has affected them in some way. Copper sulfate attacks the liver and the kidneys. It initially causes gastrointestinal issues, and that's what took the first 7. It was just a massive shock to their system.
It was a hard week. It was to a point where we didn't know what to do. Just had to wake up and go up there and see what was going on, and it was very hard to do that. To wonder who was passed and who was
Triaged.
Yeah.
Who we needed to.
Yeah.
Out of all of this, the babies were not affected. They were not dosed. No worries there. I did worry initially. The does that had survived still had kids on them. Could it be passed in the milk? And both vets were pretty much on par with, they didn't believe that it was going to be an issue. If I felt like it, was something that I could separate them, but honestly, at that point,
Yeah.
we were just trying to get through everything.
So now we're bottle feeding, and there's a bunch.
There's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
So the kids are fine. They're being bottle fed. We will take you guys up there soon and show you what's left of our herd. Oh my goodness.
But anyway, it was to a point where we had to at least get on and
Give you guys a little bit of
Yeah.
an update.
yeah, and that's what's been going on.
So bear with us. Things are a little crazy right now, as we try and get everybody trained to a bottle. Finally, the last stubborn Ellie's little girl, finally gave up and decided she was hungry enough
Yeah.
this morning. And so all the kids are trained to a bottle, save for Catch Me's kid. She's still nursing, still has milk, so she's doing fine right now. We have to keep copper away from all the goats. They can't have any supplemental copper, the adults anyways, so we're trying to figure out
For the kids.
how we can get the kids, situated, and we will. It's
Just a big hit this last week.
This last week has been really hard. I told Jeff, it's a hurt that just keeps hurting, and just when you think you've gotten over one hurdle, you lose another one. And I don't think I've cried as much in a long time, and I certainly haven't ever said I'm sorry as much.
Yeah. But it can happen to anybody. So
I'm not saying that, and I want to make it very clear, the worming protocol works. Yes, it is dangerous, but when used correctly, it works. And so I don't want anybody to think that we're bad on it. It works. It's a wonderful thing. But if you're gonna do it, make sure that you're not someone that is easily distracted, because it only takes
just a little bit.
just a little bit. Anyways, guys, I think that's gonna do it. Bear with us. We got a lot to catch you guys up on. There's some kids we want you to meet.
Yep.
We've been working on names, and I think you guys are gonna be real happy with them. I think we'll catch you guys on the next one.